All right, everybody. Welcome back to the In the Pit with Jeff. It's July 9th. It's pretty warm outside here in Brantford, Ontario, Canada. Rain's supposed to start around 3 o'clock, but that's okay. Um, what we've been up to here on my dad's hurricane, as from before, I ended up putting servos into each flap. And over here, I made a quick, just made some plywood trays and that. Um, if you want a quick trick, if you want to do covers, like put your covers on, um, I just use pieces of nylon tubing, and you can cyano or epoxy it into your wing sheeting. I leave them a little long, but you gotta make sure they're glued in good, and then try and use some short screws and small screws for them, because what happens if you start, I use the servo screws, well, some other screws that my dad had, and once in a while they'll tighten up on you and actually break the nye rod loose, and then you got a problem of lifting everything out and re-gluing it again. I've sometimes I drill them out a little bit bigger, and then of course, me being the dumbass, I know I have to have one servo, because I'm just going to do a Y harness on the ailerons. So you have to have one servo come over here, one way, one mounted the other way, right? One in, one out. At least that's how I do it to solve the problem, without having to go in and use two channels and master and slave and stuff. So then I came along here and I thought, okay, laid out where my flap hole servo holes were going to be, cut them all out, did all that stuff, mounted everything, and as you can see, I had one here, one here, and when I put them into my servo tester, one went up, one went down. So I was like, okay, do I master slave and stuff one way and the other way, or turn everything around? So of course my tray wouldn't fit, so I had to bang out another small little tray. I just made it out of some plywood. Yeah, the one piece was a little short that I used, but I was in a hurry. It was getting late at night. I was friggin' frustrated. But anyways, so now you got to move the horn over and all that shit, and move the block of plywood to another spot, and it just was a freaking shit show. It should always is around here. And then I make a template, make all my covers, right? And this was supposed to be left flap. Of course, it originally was set up to be like that. Well, now that's wrong, because we had to turn the servo around. So yeah, I could have flipped it that way and just trim my slot out bigger, but then my screw holes wouldn't match up with what I had. So long story short, just cut out another one, put a little slit in it here. I got my big mitts out of the way. Put a slit in it so you can slide it under the linkage there and screw it in. I have found the original Sky paint that my dad had. I got some cans of this, what is it, the two earth, one's earth, sky, and dark earth maybe. But anyways, now I was just trying to get my stupid airbrush I got 3 airbrushes and friggin' they're all screwed up, so I gotta play around with those. But then what happened, setting up the flaps, what did I have to do? I had to do something in here, and I got my big huge Weldon C-clamps, and I clamped them onto the blocks. I think the blocks were broken. Oh, I had to remove that flap for something. Anyways, and then so I re-glued the things, and I flipped the wing up, and the weight of my big freaking C-clamps, all I heard was a big crunch. Bent all the thing, broke it all off again. So I was like, screw it. Something else had happened. The one aileron still had the original, or the one bigger flap section still had the original torque tube on it. I cut that all off. Did the same thing as my dad. I think it was this one. Just put the horny hinges all in. Now, I didn't put the rods back across here for the flaps. I have to get in now. I found this in my stash. Sorry about that. Because I got three into one connector. Because I have a servo here, and then this section runs off the flap servo inside the wing there. So now I'm gonna have to get into the radio and master slave and set those all up. Took some dowel and just plugged up his holes where he had his valves in there. Still have to repair the wheel wells and in there where I went through, so I can sneak some of my servo extensions through. Soldered up a new linkage here. It's just on a ball link, same as this side. So it's a ball link on a threaded coupler, and then this brass tube and slides in and out of here. I'll get in and out of here. So as the gear, as you see, as the gear comes down, that has to shorten. And my dad put these little plates here to kind of guide the cover. So again, as it comes up, they extend. So this one was missing, so I soldered up one of those. So basically got that like that. On his, when I first took the retracts out, I was wondering why the cylinders were loose in it. So this one, when I put it back together again, I actually got the cylinder to screw into the right spot, so that this, come back over here, that fitting was down. I tried a few times trying to line it up in the right spot, and I couldn't, so I just undid this, loosened off the cylinder, because that fitting, it was up here, and then I was like, oh, why is the wheel only staying like that? So after I looked at it, I was like, you dummy. So we just cracked it loose a bit, moved the fitting down there, and she sucks into the hole pretty good. Let me pause here for a second, and I'll turn this upside down, or upside right. Hang on. All right, we're back. So just got my little servo tester in there. So basically got servo, all the wires all got to get tied out of the way and stuff. So flap servo, it was one servo that ran all three, but because remember the flaps weren't closing up perfect, I thought I'd put a servo in there. But I'm gonna have to put the piano wire back in there just to hold those edges up. Plus the wing's got a, you see the trailing edge where it's been broken before, it's got a whoop-de-doo in her. And same here, I don't know. Anyways, so here's what we're up against here. Oops, there, I'll let that sit like that. That's okay, it's just my test battery. So these ones drop a lot farther, so I gotta either change the linkage or get in and with the radio and program them. I'll probably just master slave everything and set them up, but I think I will put the piano wire back in. So if you don't, I think if I change the holes of the linkages, I could probably do it that way too. And then this side, basically, sorry about the sun coming through the window there. So they kind of go like that, but they're not too bad if you go there, but I can only get, that's the max. Sorry about that. That's the max there for the flat, because that was the center, that was the one that drove all of them. So we'll put the wire back in there, and unfortunately, all right, good morning everybody, welcome back to In the Pit with Jeff. It's currently 25 degrees outside right now, Brantford, Ontario, with a high of 34 today. So a good day to stay in and putter down in the pit. What else can I say? It is July the 15th, I believe. So what we've been doing on my dad's Hurricane. Since I last left off, I had paused you guys to turn the wing around and then go over to talk about the fuselage, and then the stupid thing, I must have hit the stop recording button on the old phone with my fat fingers. So I can't really remember what we had talked about, so we'll start again. So what we've been up to since last time is I've got the wheel wells all fixed up. I'll try and pull out his old foam and put some new foam in there. Got the wheel wells patched up in there. Just got a bit of spot putty. Gonna do a light sanding down here. Made a new little cover. It's supposed to simulate, I guess, where it covers up where the wings joint together. So I refabricated one of those out of just some litho plate and contact cement. Then we'll mask this all off, spray it, mask off this area, just spray the covers. I think I mentioned before that I found some sky paint. Flaps, I have these servos unhooked right at the moment, because what I was trying to do was work on some taping to tape the gaps up in there, just to clean those up. So I just reach under here, just move the one, let's see, where is it here? Sorry about that, guys. Fat fingers are there. Where is it? Oh, it's way over here. Sorry. Okay, so basically, I get that much flap right at the moment. I ended up just putting braided cable across there to joint, keep those level. This one's a little wonky, but that's because when I had my big freaking dumbass C-clamps block clamping these hardwood blocks back in place while I was gluing it, and then I tipped the wing up like that, and then they fell forward and bent everything to crap. So when we put that back down, as you like I showed you before, the trailing edges kind of got a little bit of a wow in it. I probably could have cut it and opened on the and fixed that, but when the other servos works, it'll push that gap. It's not much, it just takes a little bit just to push that down. Same as on that side, a little bit of effort, push that down, and then the little bit, my dad always said the airflow will hold that up. I don't know, let's see. Sorry guys, I just put you over here, look at that servo for a minute. I might have got rid of it. I had a harness 3 into 1, so I could put the 3 servos into one channel. So I had this flap servo, the middle flap servo for here, and then this flap servo would all go into one channel. But when I had everything plugged in and just going through the servo checker, and then I wiggle the harness, that would cut in and out. One of the servos would drop out, so I don't want to trust that. So we'll either buy something or make something. We got lots of odds and ends. So then I just have to pop my dad's cover back on. It's just hinged on some Robarts hinges. Goes up out of the way. Then he's got a little lock just to hold her. Just oh, I thought that was supposed to move. I think it's supposed to move. I probably got it sealed up with my stupid poly coat. So we'll go for a quick walk over here. Threw a bit of spot putty here to sand up. Went to Buck store, got a bit more contact adhesive so we can start. We'll be able to put in glue in our side panels down in there. That one says right. Sorry about that. Looking at my. It's just the left one. We'll get these I'll get these panels all glued in, work on the interior and stuff. I had to pull the tank and all that back out. Grab this thing for a second. Oh, let go. Oh, sorry guys. I should put this stuff on the stand instead of one hand bomber. I had to pull the tank out because even though I blew excuse me, the original airline that I had to quick connect, even though I had blew in it, it felt like it was holding air when I was using the electric air pump. I could hear it, so I had to pull the tank out, pull the air tank out, replace that. So there will be the gear there. I think I showed you that before. They'll drop down when I tip this back upside down. Get this all steadied. Got this all these areas. We'll spray those. got the retract valve hooked up there. I might look at one of the ones that jet guys use. I was just using a bike pump, just going right into a Robarts pump, just plugging right into there to check the system out. And then my dad's electric pump he had, I just wired up. He had it plugged in because we used to use the 12-volt motorbike batteries with banana clips in the flight box. I just cut those all off and just put a E3 terminal on just so I could use one of my old airplane batteries, LiPo batteries, to run the pump, the electric pump for the retracts. And that's about it, really. We're gonna get in, got that all fixed up. We're gonna get in here. We'll spray some touch up in that today, and do a little bit of work on some other projects. I did manage to go out flying Monday. I went flying. Yeah, I just did my dad's old Cub and my little carbon Cub just for fun. I brought out another project that I haven't shown you guys yet, but we've been running into a few issues with it, but we'll save that for another day. Anyways, everybody have a great one from In the Pit, and we'll talk to you later. Stay safe. All right, bye.